Coming up, we meet a professional flamenco dancer, a flamenco historian and choreographer who introduces us to Spanish dance, Spanish music, and its magic next. In 1969, choreographer Oscar Nieto, who is being called the Flamenco Fred Astaire, launched his professional dance career at the Chicago Lyric Opera House. Since then, he has embarked on a fantastic flamenco joyride, an intensive study of Spanish music and dance. It is my pleasure to welcome Oscar Nieto, founder of Flamenco Heresy, to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
A pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
So how did you go from the Opera House in Chicago to flamenco?
It's been a long journey, many dance companies, many touring, much touring, visits to Spain, and I was very fortunate that a lot of very good choreographers and dancers and companies were in the United States. In the sense I didn't have to go to Spain, Spain was already here.
Okay, so you weren't singing arias?
No.
At the Opera House?
No.
You were choreographing Carmen or something?
Actually, I was one of the dancers. And,
one of the dancers.
The choreographer was Antonio Gades, who later became quite famous in the Carlos Saura films of Carmen and The Blood Wedding and so forth. So I was very young at the time, and that was a great way to start my career, so to speak.
Okay, but your love affair with flamenco began, I hear tell, in East Los Angeles in Belvedere Park.
That's correct.
And what were you doing there?
Trying to run away from the homeboys, you know, who didn't like guys like me dancing. So it was a rough ride in a rough neighborhood, but I believe it was the arts, in my case, Spanish dance, flamenco dance, and that got me out of the barrio and allowed me to see the world.
And it simply captured your heart, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And if I think back on it, it was actually the singing that really grabbed me. The dance, yes, absolutely.
And it could be the gypsy in your soul. Do you think?
Possibly, yes.
Tell me about flamenco. What are the elements of the dance, the historical part of the dance?
Well, flamenco is a melding of four distinct cultures, the Christian, the Hebrew, the Muslim, and the Gypsy culture that came together in Andalusia, the southernmost region of Spain. And over the course of several hundred years, it has become what we now know as flamenco dance. But there's also a distinction that a lot of people don't know. There is flamenco dance, and then there's Spanish neoclassical dance, which is a school that is unfortunately kind of dying. It's the school that I was trained in. We were trained to dance regional, classical, neoclassical, and flamenco. A lot of the companies that toured in the early part of the 20th century mostly had Spanish neoclassical dance and a little bit of flamenco.
Okay, so when they say it's neoclassical, or it's, what's puro?
Puro is what's called pure flamenco.
The pure flamenco.
And it's identified with the gypsies, but there's controversy. Some people say that it is the gypsies who made flamenco what it is. Other people say it wasn't just the gypsies, it was Spaniards.
Right. And is there ritual around it like there is tango? You know, around tango where there's rules?
Oh, yes.
You know, and you do it, it all works with the eyes, and if you're not a very good tango dancer, you should just stay put.
That's correct.
Does that happen in flamenco, or is it a totally different thing?
No, there are very strict rules that are followed. And it's it's funny because once you learn the rules, you can break them like many other art forms.
Sure.
But there are very strict rules. And in fact, some of the older dancers, like myself in a way, are highly respected because we've lived it. There are the young dancers with all the tricks and the pyrotechnical footwork and all that kind of stuff. And then there's maturity.
Okay, I think we should take a look.
Okay.
For somebody who has never seen flamenco or thinks it's tango or something else, maybe square dance, but it's not. So set this up for me. I met you at the door this morning
Yes.
with your wonderful guitar player and a couple of singers and a dancer.
Yes.
A couple of dancers.
And a singer.
Yes.
They will be doing a little potpourri of a rumba to start, then a little piece of a dance that we called sevillanas, which is a typical dance that you would see at any tablao or flamenco cabaret.
Okay.
And then they did another little piece, which I think they're going to show later, which is called a bulería, and it's a fiesta dance.
Oh, so a what?
A bulería.
A bulería, but let's see the sevillanas
Yes.
now.
Okay.
Okay.
Para mí siempre será la mayor de mis riquezas. Para mí siempre será la mayor de mis riquezas. Y el tener de cosas buenas y a mi amor de compañera. Y el tener de cosas buenas y a mi amor de compañera. Arrincónamela, échamela al rincón, que casa la quiero y eso será mejor, eso será mejor, eso será mejor, que casa la quiero y eso será mejor. Oye, vamos ya, sevillana, oye, toma. Mira la cara que la primera. A ver, que la primera. Mira la cara que la primera. Y mira la cara que la primera. Que la primera. Y la va seduciendo a tu manera. Y la va seduciendo a tu manera. Y esa gitana, y esa gitana, y esa gitana se conquista bailando con sevillana. Ole.
Ole, ole.
Ole.
Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Ole, yes,
Does that
that's
mean,
one of the words.
Does that mean fabulous?
Yes.
Ole?
Ole.
Okay, so on guitar, Roderick Malkin.
Yes.
Singer, one of the singers, or the
Jafelin.
singer is Jafelin.
Yes.
How beautiful.
Yes, very lovely.
And does the singer always sit down?
Quite
Is that
often.
very common? Very
Quite often,
common?
very common.
Jafelin Helton and Maria
Avila.
Avila, singer-dancer, and Andrea Williams, dancer.
Correct.
And how long does it take a student of yours to perfect something like that?
About 10 years.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of work.
A lot of work, a lot of dedication.
Where do you start them?
Well, funnily enough, we start them with what is called compás, C-O-M-P-A-S. And compás means time, tempo, rhythm, and to be in sympathy with the whole group. And very often it's just simply teaching them palmas, the clapping, to
Okay.
learn the rhythm first.
Right.
Because they're quite complex rhythms. And then gradually we introduce them to basic steps, and then arm work, and then hand work. And it's,
Well, it's so organic. It's dynamic. It's organic. It's beautiful.
passionate
really.
is one word that I hear a lot.
Passionate's a good word.
Yeah.
Well, you can feel it.
Yes.
And the women dancing with the women.
Yes.
And
men.
that's very common.
Very
Men
common.
dancing with the men, woman dancing with the man.
Very common, yes.
It's all it's
Yes, it's all into...
Mix it up.
Mix it up, exactly.
so to speak. But how do you know, as an expert, as the Fred Astaire,
Oh, boy.
how do you know that the performance was superlative? What do you look for?
Rhythm, timing, clarity of footwork. It has to be very, very precise. The clapping has to be very precise. The rhythm of the guitar has to be very precise. There's a lot of precision.
Yes, but as you know so well, Oscar, because you do this work, it's sometimes difficult to get North Americans. We can be precise, but sometimes, unlike the Latins, we have trouble letting go.
That's a very good point, actually.
Well, so we can be very uptight.
Uh-huh.
So how do you help a student open the channel of learning to envelop flamenco?
That's an excellent question.
You know, a student raised in a little uptight family where tap dancing wasn't even allowed.
Right. Well, I think it comes down to introducing them finally or early on to the singing, what we call the cante, because actually flamenco dance and music is based around the singing. The singing came first,
right?
Then the dance, and then the music. So it is in the singing that the real passion comes out in the expression of the singer, and it's up to the singer to move the whole group. Yes.
And who mentored you?
Well, my mentor was Lola Montes, a Spanish dancer from, well, she was actually born in New York City, and I toured and worked with her for about 30 years.
Did you do a documentary?
I'm working on her documentary.
Oh, you're working on it. I knew there was a documentary either in the works or done.
No, it's in the works. I've been working on it for 10 years. About 2 years ago, she died in 2008. She passed away. It set me off into a mourning period, and I kind of put the project to a side. And now I've come back to it, and with fresh eyes and a different approach to the whole project.
Well, I know you're a survivor because I know you're fighting the cancer.
Correct.
In a good way.
Yes, very positive. I've come to the other side. I went to my first support group meeting last night, and it's very positive. I've been given a clean bill of health, and this also has inspired me to get back to my work.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I know you had your own.
I did mine too.
Yes.
We're like, and I might take up flamenco. I think it's time. Never too late, right?
Never too late.
Okay, the Fiesta performances, you'll be on the North Shore, you'll be in Sawasan next week, 25th, 26th, 27th.
Correct. They're doing some performances.
Well, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I love your tie.
Thank you so much.
Really swell.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Oscar Nieto. And tomorrow, a medical doctor talks about the rising plague, the global threat from deadly bacteria, and our dwindling arsenal to fight them. And financial and business analyst Michael Campbell returns to talk about current money matters locally and globally. And food stylist and travel writer Nathan Fong has some tasty advice for healthy eating. Thanks for watching Studio 4. There will be lots more on Shaw TV, only on Shaw TV.